The rules of life. Dedicate your life to something. Rule number 6. It is a yardstick to measure A. How I am doing, B. What I am doing, C. Where I am going. To know what counts and what doesn't, you have to know what you are dedicating your life to. There are, of course, no right or wrong answers to this one, as it's a very personal choice. But it's really useful to have an answer rather than not really knowing. I have something that I can devote my attention to. It's a yardstick by which I can measure A. How I am doing, B. What I am doing, and C. Where I am going. You don't need to trumpet it. You don't need to tell anyone. You don't even need to think it out in too much detail. A simple internal mission statement will do. The rules of life. Be flexible in your thinking. Rule number 7. Try to see life not as the enemy, but as friendly sparring partner. Once your thinking gets crystallized, rigid, formed, you've lost the battle. Once you think you have all the answers, you might as well hang up your boots. Once you get set in your ways, you're already part of history. To get the most out of life, you have to keep all your options open. Keep your thinking and life flexible. You have to be ready to roll as the storm breaks, and by golly, it always breaks when you least expect it. The instant you are established in a set pattern, you set yourself up for being knocked off course. You might need to examine your thinking pretty closely to understand what I mean. Flexible thinking is a bit like mental martial arts, being ready to duck and wave, dodge and flow. Try to see life not as the enemy, but as a friendly sparring partner. If you are flexible, you'll have fun. If you stand your ground, you're likely to get knocked about a bit. We all have set patterns in life. We like to label ourselves as this or that and are quite proud of our opinions and beliefs. We all like to read a set paper, watch the same sort of TV programs or movies, go to the same sort of shops every time, eat the sort of food that suits us, wear the same type of clothes. And all this is fine, but if we cut ourselves off from all other possibilities, we become boring, rigid, hardened, and thus likely to get knocked about a bit. You have to see life as a series of adventures. Each adventure is a chance to have fun, learn something, explore the world, expand your circle of friends and experience, and broaden your horizons. Shutting down to adventure means exactly that. You are shut down. The second you are offered an opportunity to have an adventure, to change your thinking, to step outside of yourself, go for it and see what happens. If this thought scares you, remember that you can always go back into your shell the second it's over, if you want to. But even saying yes to every opportunity isn't set in stone as a rule, because that would be inflexible. The really flexible thinkers know when to say no as well as when to say yes. The rules of life. Take an interest in the outside world. Rule number 8. Taking interest in the outside world is about developing you rather than for the world's benefit. You may be wondering why this rule is here and not in this section about the wider world. Well, this one is about you. Taking an interest in the outside world is about developing you for yourself rather than for the world's benefit. I'm not suggesting you have to watch the news constantly, but by reading, listening, and talking, we keep abreast of what is happening. Successful rules players don't get bogged down by the minutiae of their own lives. They don't live in a tiny bubble. Make it your mission to know what's going on in the world, in current events, music, fashion, science, movies, food, transport, even TV. Successful rules players are able to hold a conversation on pretty well everything and anything because they are interested in what's going on. You don't necessarily have to own the latest everything, but you should have a rough idea of what is changing, what is new, and what's happening, both in your community and on the other side of the world. And the benefits? Well, for starters, it makes you more interesting as a person, and it also keeps you young. I met an elderly woman in the post office the other day who was going on about PIN numbers. PIN numbers. PIN numbers. What do I want with PIN numbers at my age? The short answer is that, of course, she needs them. She can't get her pension money without them. But it's more than that. It's terribly easy to sink into that. I've never done this before. I don't need to do it now mentality. If we do this, we stand a good chance of really missing out. The happiest, most well-balanced, most successful people in life are those who are part of something, part of the world, not cut off from it. And the most interesting, stimulating people to be around are those who take a great interest in what's happening around them. Listening to the radio the other morning, the head of the American Prison Service was being interviewed and was talking about penal reform, a subject I have no interest in personally. You could argue that I didn't need to know about the American Prison Service any more than the old woman needed to know about PIN numbers, but I felt more stimulated and alive and interested for it, and that can't be bad. The rules of life. Be on the side of angels, not the beast. Rule number 9. We get torn between what we want and what is good for others. Every single day of our lives, we are faced with an immense number of choices, and each and every one of them usually boils down to a simple choice between being on the side of angels or the beasts. Which are you going to pick, or did you not even realize what was going on? Let me explain. Every action we make has an effect on our family, people around us, society, the world in general. And that effect can be positive or detrimental. It's usually our choice. And sometimes it is a difficult choice. We get torn between what we want and what is good for others. Personal satisfaction or magnanimity. Look, no one said this was going to be easy, and making the decision to be on the side of angels is often a tough call. But if we want to succeed in this life, and I measure success by how close we get to generating that self-satisfaction, happiness, contentment, then we consciously have to do this. This can be what we dedicate our lives to, angels, not beasts. If you want to know if you have already made the choice, just do a quick check of how you feel and how you react if someone cuts in front of you in a line of traffic in the rush hour, or when you are in a big hurry and someone stops to ask you for directions, or if you have teenage children and one of them gets into trouble with the police, or when you lend a friend money and they fail to pay it back, or if your boss calls you a fool in front of the rest of your colleagues, or your neighbor's trees start to encroach on your property, or you hit your thumb with a hammer, or. As I said, it is a choice we have to make every day, lots of times, and it has to become a conscious choice to be effective. Now, the problem is that no one is going to tell you exactly what constitutes an angel or a beast. Here you are going to have to set your own parameters. But come on, it can't be that difficult. I think an awful lot of it is self-evident. Does it hurt or hinder? Are you part of the problem or the solution? Will things get better or worse if you do certain things? You have to make this choice for yourself alone. It is your interpretation of what is an angel or a beast that counts. There is no point in telling anyone else that they are on the side of the beast, as they may have a totally different definition. What other people do is their choice, and they won't thank you for telling them otherwise. You can, of course, watch as an impassive, objective observer or think to yourself, I wouldn't have done it like that. Or, I think they just chose to be an angel. Or even, gosh, how beastly. But you don't have to say anything. The rules of life: only dead fish swim with the stream. Rule number 10. And that's what life is, what it is meant to be, a series of struggles and lulls. Life is difficult, and the rule is to thank God it is so. If it was all fluffy and easy, we wouldn't be tested, tried, forged in the fire of life. We wouldn't grow or learn or change or have a chance to rise above ourselves. If life were a series of lovely days, we'd soon get bored. If there was no rain, then there wouldn't be any feeling of great joy when it finally stopped and we could go to the beach. If it was all easy, we couldn't get stronger. So, be thankful it is a struggle some of the time, and recognize that only dead fish swim with the stream. For the rest of us, there will be times when it's an uphill, upstream struggle. We will have to battle waterfalls, waves, and raging torrents. But we have no choice. We have to keep swimming or get swept away. And each flick of our tail, each surge of our fins makes us stronger and fitter, leaner and happier. There is a statistic that suggests that for a lot of men, retirement is a really bad idea. Lots of them die within a relatively short time of handing in their briefcase. They have ceased to swim against the current and get swept away. Keep swimming, little fish, keep swimming. Try to see each setback as a chance to improve. They make you stronger, not weaker. You only get burdened with as much as you can carry. Although I do appreciate that at times it may seem as if it's a whole lot more. And of course, the struggles don't come to an end, but there are lulls in between times, backwaters, where we can rest for a while and enjoy the moment before the next obstacle gets thrown our way. And that's what life is, what is meant to be, a series of struggles and lulls. And whatever situation you are in now, it's going to change. So, what are you in, lull or struggle? Rain or going to the beach? Learning or enjoying? Dead fish or healthy salmon?